Every time I go to the gym, it's very common to see some freak doing the leg press the wrong way. And as a licensed personal trainer, it motivated me to do this video and show you the do's and don'ts of the leg press. As I'm going to show you which muscles the leg press trains, the common mistakes most people do at this exercise. After this, the supporting studies that support the leg press, and finally the correct way to perform it. So make sure to stay to the end of the video so you can see in detail tutorial of how to make it correctly so you don't have doubts in your next leg day. Now, before starting, I want to just appreciate every single one of you who has subscribed to my channel. My channel has been a lot of things, mostly shorts. Then I started doing long form. I stopped doing long form. Then I started again doing long form. I have decided to make these types of videos. I'm not gonna promise you anything because I promise you something and I don't do it. I need to start learning myself to do the things I'm telling myself to do and don't quit. So I will try not to quit. So let's get now to the fun stuff. Actually, to the boring stuff first. And it's which muscles trains the leg press. And most commonly, most people that I have encountered at the gym, they don't know how to use their foot positioning to focus more in a specific type of muscle. But the first one that we mostly focus is on the quadriceps. But we can also focus in the other muscles of the legs like our glutes, hamstrings, and even a small stimulus to our adductors and calves. This exercise also trains in the sagittal plane of the human body. And as we're mostly doing extensions and contractions of the muscles I just previously mentioned. But this exercise is mostly a goal to hit the quadriceps as effective as possible, which is the muscles on the front part of your thighs, and minimize the risk of injury due to its low impact on the joints, of course, especially the knee joints. I myself have experienced a lot of gains from this exercise, and honestly, it's one of the least impactful in our joints, trust me. I started this exercise long ago, like 2 years ago, and I really progressed in a lot of weight, and yeah, I got to around 600 pounds, but I was doing the correct technique. Now, this is a thing that most people don't do, and it's a correct technique, which I'm going to talk about. The next one is the common mistakes, which after knowing the basics of this exercise, let's now talk the most common thing I see, which is the common mistakes. And as most of us has seen in social media or in the gym, depending on which gym you go, if your gym has a leg press, you will see this, and it's very common to see people overloading this exercise with weight and just look at how their ego consumes them, and in the end they leave almost all the gains at the table and with all their ego with them. And you have seen this, of course, those people that put more than 10 45 pound plates and do half reps. You know which people are those, right? Yeah, I think you already know that person in your own gym. So, and for building muscle, we need to focus in a full range of motion and a splendid technique in most of our sets and reps. So, and the most common mistakes are the following. Now, the first one is rounding your back, and this is due to the seat position, which it probably has been in the higher degree setting, which has torn your lower back down, of course, and this is not what we want. So the solution is to lower the angle of the seat so you have a more wide range of motion and focus in the quads. The second mistake is putting your feet very high on the platform. And as you can see, you don't work fully your legs, okay? And no, also you don't train your glutes this way. Probably the leg press should be omitted if you focus in your glute muscles, as it won't be as effective as a hip flinging movement, like for example the deadlifts or like the hip thrusts. The third mistake is that you should not do it. That third mistake is destabilizing your technique, okay? And mostly I see this when people, instead of grabbing the handles, they put their hands in their lap and just do some half reps, doing the first mistake I just mentioned, which is overloading it completely and doing half reps and not doing the full range of motion. Now, what's the solution? I think that's very obvious. Grab the handles. Now, also avoid putting your hands behind your head as if you were in the beach. Come on, guys, don't do that. I don't know why some people do this. Like, it's so common. Like, every time I go to the gym, at least once I see a person doing this. And of course, they also do the incorrect technique in this exercise. So now let's get to the fun stuff for some people, also for me, and it's the support of science, which As doing some research for this video, I really found a lot of studies, but the three that most grabbed my attention are these supporting studies for why this exercise is effective, and if you do it right, actually it's not overrated. So the first study is that supports this is an electromyogram study from Spain, showed greater activation of the vastus medialis, vasolaterales, and rectus femoris at the eccentric phase of the movement. These three muscles are what the quadriceps are mostly formed. This sartorius is the fourth one, but it didn't mention it here, but I think it also helped with the sartorius, I hope. The second great study is one from Brazil, which shows the importance of training close to failure in an RPE between 8 and 10. And this graph shows the results and how activated the muscles mentioned earlier were activated. And lastly, another study by Walter Billy et al. Shows that even for people with knee arthroplasty, shows that it improves the pain in the knees by strengthening them in the leg press in a full range of motion. Now, it's important that even though there is studies supporting the effectiveness of this exercise, you should always contact your physician or your personal trainer in your own gym if you have any doubts about performing the leg press. Now, let's go into the good stuff, what you've been waiting for, and it's how to do the leg press. Now, if you have watched the full video, which I hope you should and didn't skip to this part, and learned all the necessary stuff to don't fail at this exercise, let me actually show you how to do the leg press the correct way. Step number 1, put the amount of desired weight before sitting at the leg press machine. This is very important. Step 2 is that before sitting down at the leg press machine, make sure to put the bench angle at its lowest to achieve a full range of motion. Step 3 is that sit at the leg press machine, grabbing the security handles and putting your feet in between your shoulder and hip width depending in your hip anatomy. And the angle of your feet should be 15 degrees outward no matter how wide or narrow your feet are placed. Number 4, in the execution, lower the platform slowly, at least for 2 to 4 seconds, and then do an explosive concentric or push the platform back up as fast and as explosive as you can. You need to make sure also that your knees align with your feet like it is for the squats. This way you're doing it at the safest way possible without any injury risk, which is very, very cool about this exercise. This is why I love it so much, but most people do it incorrectly. Now, step 5 is when finishing, make sure to put the security handles back in place. And lastly, number 6, unrack the damn weights, please. Please, unrack the weights. Now, lastly, now that you know everything of the leg press, I hope that you are the most informed possible in this video. And if you don't have any doubts, of course. But if you want full access to my training, all the exercises that I recommend, make sure to check the link on my website down in the description. And if you want to buy one of my fitness equipment or my tripod I use in the gym or the microphone I use for this video, check out my affiliate links. I highly appreciate it if you really support me. And lastly, but most importantly, make sure to subscribe and like the video to support me. Now, watch this next video to see whether you are gaining muscle or not.